a nurse one day because my insurance says that I have to get a flu vaccine from the doctor's office. Well, the first time that I went to go get it from a doctor's office, I ended up having to go to either like a walk-in clinic, which ended up costing me more than just my copay, or I have to go to the health department. And here's why. The insurance companies are not covering the flu vaccine at total cost that's included with your your regular copay to the doctor's office. So since your insurance usually has an agreement with doctor's offices that are in network, they're stuck eating the rest of the price of the vaccine that's not being covered. So they're losing money on the vaccine. So a lot of doctor's offices, are telling you to get them, but telling you to go here or there to get them because they can't afford to keep eating the back end of the cost it is to keep the vaccine in. I know personally, and I have what is considered the second best insurance in the nation, in the US, but our insurance will cover it at 100% if you're under the age of 18, if you get it from a doctor or a walk-in clinic. But I can't just go to a pharmacy to get it. My insurance will not pay for it. I have to pay for it out of pocket, or have to go to the health department. Health department is the only place that I can get the flu shot for free over the age of 18. Otherwise, it costs me, after we pay the $10 copay, it costs another $40. Like I said, if you're under 18, it's free. But so I promise you, these doctors are not feeding you this line of bullshit based off of them making money, because they're not. I've got friends in healthcare, and they have verified that the shot is fine. If you've never had the flu shot before, it's best to get to your first year. You can talk to a healthcare provider and find out what they find is best for you, and if they think that you need 2 flu shots because it's your first year, they can give you an appropriate schedule for you. I'm not a healthcare provider. I'm not trying to pretend like I am one. I am a mother with 2 children who have immune issues and weak lungs from being born prematurely. But flu season lasted longer this year and has started earlier this year. Now, this is all just in 2017, so it is a problem. The flu shot didn't last as long, and my daughter got the flu at the beginning of the year, pretty close to summer, and it was horrible for her. She was hallucinating. Her fever was so bad. She never really got a secondary infection with hers. Now the flu season has started early. Most places don't even start getting flu shots in until around October the 1st, and my son already has the flu. This is his second time in 11 years that he's had the flu. He cannot take a flu vaccination because of his allergies. Well, he relies on the community to do the right thing and get inoculated against a simple virus that can be deadly, relies on herd immunization to keep himself healthy. And so far, it's worked, because I know most school-age kids are getting it now, more getting it now than they used to, now that they offer it in school for free. It keeps them from missing school, and they're getting correct information sent home to the parents, and the parents are trusting the school, so that's a good thing. And more adults are starting to get it now. People say, oh, well, it makes me sick every time I take it. Well, let me tell you something. You're not getting sick from the flu, and there's a risk with any vaccination that you get, that you can run a fever and have mild chills and body aches for about 3 to 4 days after you receive any vaccination. So just because you start getting the chills or a fever or body aches does not mean that you have the flu, especially if you're not going to get checked for it, nor does it mean that the vaccination has made you ill. So quit spreading false information. If you get a flu vaccine and all of a sudden you're sick and you feel like you've got the flu, go get checked. But I promise you, if you do have the flu, you had it before you were getting the flu vaccine. The flu actually is in your body and contagious for about 48 hours before you even show symptoms. So sometimes it is just coincidental. Most of the other time it is something that is not the flu, or it is just the simple chills and stuff that you can get from a vaccine. You know, they tell you to just go ahead and take Tylenol or ibuprofen after you get a shot anyway. That goes from infancy on up. And they tell you that for a reason. But I'm going to document most of this weekend when I can to show you guys what it's like for someone who can't take a flu shot, who's developed the flu, who should be over the flu, but now they can't breathe. And see where it lands him. If the wheezing and labored breathing doesn't ease up, we will be at a walk-in clinic or an emergency room before the end of the weekend to see what is going on, to make sure that it isn't full-blown pneumonia, that maybe it's just some stuff that is stuck in his airway that needs to get worked out, or his airway is just inflamed. Let's hope for one of those two things and not pneumonia, because that could be very bad. Anyway, I want people to see firsthand exactly why I'm so passionate about flu shots. Well, I know I said I was going to document things going on right now with my son to kind of give people an idea of what happens when somebody who isn't, I don't know what you would say, have a normal immune system, what happens when they have the flu, especially if they can't take the flu shot, so they rely on everybody else to take it to provide herd immunity. And I felt that it was in bad taste to film my son vomiting. Just part of it. For starters, due to allergies, we didn't know if he was going to be able to take an antiviral. I got to the doctor in time for an antiviral would work, but the pills that he would have needed for the Tamiflu contained cornstarch, which, you know, kicked back because of the corn allergy. Another antiviral that could have given him had a milk protein in it, so that kicked back. And then we figured out that he could take the liquid Tamiflu. He just has to take a whole lot of it at once. And he's been fine today, other than coughing, tight breathing, and some wheezing. But all of a sudden he starts vomiting, and I mean, it's not just a little, it's a whole lot. And it was like pure Tamiflu. So that's just part of the greatness of that. Could be anybody dealing with the flu, but you know, it's hard on him because he does get sick like that a little more often than most people, and a lot of it's due to him having, you know, food allergies and getting a hold of things that some of us don't really realize that might have some stuff in it, because sometimes, you know, something's got cornstarch in it, or like corn syrup, it doesn't really bother him, and sometimes it will, but it's never those types of things. If it's not a main ingredient, don't normally cause any kind of a symptom that is more than just a sensitivity. If it's a main ingredient, yeah, it causes severe reactions. But yeah, if it's just a small ingredient, sometimes it's just a sensitivity, which will cause him to get sick or just have digestive issues. So plus he's allergic to, or not allergic to, but he is lactate deficient completely. So things that you don't think of that have lactose in it have lactose in it, and I don't think about it and give it to him, and although that isn't going to kill him, he feels like he's dying. So that's where we're at as of right now. So we will see tomorrow how he's doing. As of right now, he's very hoarse and losing his voice. It is going into Saturday evening. I am wore out because I had a late Friday night with homecoming and up early today. So I'm going to enjoy my book and lay down. So I'm laying here because I'm not feeling 100% today. I think I'm wore out with everything going on. But another update on Aiden with the flu. I think the flu has finally evacuated his body. I think you just exorcist projectiled it all in Guitar Center's parking lot. But in all seriousness, though, the coughing is getting worse, and he woke up this morning and cannot really speak, which when you start losing your voice, if it's just not from overstraining your vocal cords, a lot of times it is swelling in the bronchial tubes. So that is the point that we were at now, Sunday. So if he is not any better tomorrow, which is when he goes back to school, I'm going to start calling the doctor tomorrow and seeing what we can do about getting him seen, because at this point I'm worried about bronchitis and pneumonia. You don't have to have a fever to have either. This is something that you kind of learn when you have one that has issues, like Aiden. So we'll see. He doesn't really seem to be feeling 100%, but I'm still trying to get him to stay on the breathing treatments around the clock as much as possible. But yeah, it's not 100%. So again, just trying to show you guys what it's like for a child with immune issues who can't take a flu shot, and relies on everybody else to take one who's now gotten the flu. I will keep this up until I get the final diagnosis on what's going on now, and then where that's going to come from, and then I may post a follow-up video a little bit later. Bye! Okay, so here's the deal. I'm going to go ahead and cut this short, and I'm actually going to do, well, I'm not going to cut it short, just so I have something that isn't 30-45 minutes long. I'm going to go ahead and edit everything together and upload it and kind of make its own little playlist. And what I'll do is I'm going to follow this one around until he's 100% better, and I'm going to take you guys, you're fine, I'm going to take you guys along for the ride to kind of see what he has to deal with. Now, he was diagnosed with the flu Monday. Or Tuesday.
Monday.
He started, yeah, it was Monday. He started sick Monday, and this when he got tested Tuesday. He started sick Monday, came home from school Tuesday. He was diagnosed. This is now the following Sunday, and as you can tell, he still has a cough, as you've seen in the before. He was vomiting yesterday. His voice is coming and going. That a lot of times is a sign of the bronchial tubes being too tight or restrictive. Upon listening to him, his lungs are a little tight and a little bit of wheezing. We've been doing breathing treatments. If all of this still progresses as of tomorrow, I'm going to call and get him in to see a doctor for a check to make sure that he doesn't have pneumonia or bronchitis, because unlike what most people think, you don't have to have a fever to have either. I'm going to try to find some good info on why you should get the flu shots and what is in it, and a breakdown of it if I can, to throw in on the end of this video. If not, then I will keep looking to throw in on here sometime. But as of right now, explain to them how it feels when you have a weaker immune system and you get something like the flu.
Well, first, you have to take, it's harder to get rid of. I've taken that Flunase stuff for 1 week, and it still ain't really cured it at all. Do not take that stuff in hot stuff.
Oh, he's talking about Tamiflu, I'm sorry.
Tamiflu, do not get in the sun with that stuff. Yeah, it's really hard to get rid of. You don't feel good until I'm still not feeling good, so I don't know when it stops. It's hard to breathe after 3 weeks for me. But I have asthma, so you have to take medicine. You have to rest. You miss school, work.
Your words are now. I can hear you.
No, that's just mine.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
But he, you know, he can't take a flu shot. So what he relies on is people like you and myself who can take the flu shot to get the flu shot to keep him from getting it. This year, we're supposed to have a really bad year with it. Get your feet off the wall. We're supposed to have a really bad year with it. It's horrible in Australia right now, who are in their winter. I mean, we kind of use that to gauge. You don't want to get the flu shot too early, because then you may not get inoculated for the correct virus that's going around that year, or you get inoculated too early and then it doesn't last long enough. The flu season is almost 12 months around now. My daughter had it late this year. She had it almost at the beginning of summer, was still in flu season. She had it, was running fevers so bad she was hallucinating. And she had a flu shot, but she had gotten it so early, it wore off. You know, he can't have him, and it's just really not time to start getting him yet. So that's how this happened. This is his second time since he was born that he's ever had this. And he almost couldn't take an antiviral medication because the two main ones that they needed to give him either had cornstarch or milk protein in them, and they were kicking back on his food allergies. Then they figured out that the liquid Tamiflu doesn't, but because of his size, he had to take a very large dose. So it was basically 2 of the bottles that they usually dispense out of full that was given to us, because he has to take 2 teaspoons, basically, twice a day of it. So I'm going to see, his sister was sick last week and now she's on erythromycin for bronchitis. So please, if your children are sick, just take one day, get them checked, and see if they're safe to go back to school. It's going to save you in the long run when you have to miss more days because you keep sending them sick and they get worse. And also, it hurts children like him and my daughter when you send them in sick because you don't have anything else to do with them. And plus, please be considerate.
And plus, this is not second spoon. Go horse my spoon.
Yeah, so that's it. But I'll be putting updates on this story. I'm going to start a new story for this and update you guys till he is 100%. So we'll see how long this takes. So far, we'll be at a complete week of fever tomorrow, a complete week of diagnosis Tuesday. So Tuesday will probably when he'll be able to go back to the doctor. So we'll see. I've got an appointment tomorrow. It's my birthday tomorrow. I got an appointment tomorrow. Not to mention that my grandmother, his great-grandmother, is not doing well. Hospice has been called in, so everything's kind of in limbo until we figure out what's going on there.
And
anyway,
has band practice tomorrow.
That doesn't have anything to do with it.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Bye guys. Bye.
I'm not trying to zoom. So, the documentary that I've been working on is going to have to be cut a little short, but I hope to add some more to it through the season to see why I'm so passionate about this. Please refrain from bashing me and my standpoint. I have the reasons for the way I believe, and it is because it is what is best for my child. I'm not saying what is best for one child is best for everybody, but I'm sick and tired of the fakeness that's going around about this simple vaccine that has proven to be more helpful than harmful. You know, if you're healthy and you do get sick, it's going to be 10 times worse than if you're somebody that stays sick all the time. Also realize that when you do this type of stuff, you're not just doing it for yourself, you're helping people like my son. It's keeping you from getting the flu, therefore that's one less person that he might be around that could be infected with the flu. That means less people that you're going to give it to that were not smart enough to know to go get an injection or for some medical reason can't. I get people have their own stance, and if it's a religious stance, I completely understand that, and I respect that. But to make up lies that is unfounded off of something that you've learned from, like, Jenny McCarthy, just keep it to yourself, please, because this is not the right place to be voicing that opinion, because I promise you there's going to be more mothers that have children like mine who are going to be in agreement with me, because you don't understand what it's like until you personally have to deal with this stuff. So please realize that I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm not trying to be pressuring you. I just want you to realize what it is like that parents like us put up with. And there's more than just me. There's a lot of children that cannot take this vaccine that desperately need it. So yeah, anyway, thank you guys. I'm going to make this its own little section so I can kind of update it when need be. I'm going to try to get some talks with some actual doctors that's been doing this probably almost as long as I've been alive. So they can give us a little bit of an idea. Plus, also know that you getting your flu shot is vaccinating you, so you're less likely to get it and less likely to pass it on to somebody that's elderly that doesn't need it, who probably already got their vaccination anyway, but certain people with very, very, very low immune deficiencies, if they are vaccinated and exposed at the right time, can still get it. Or their shot may wear off because it's only good for so long. That's why you've got to be careful and pin it down at the right time. Best way to figure that out is to talk to your doctor. And I mean, after a certain age or with certain medical conditions, people, if they were to contact the flu, that's enough to put them in the hospital. Being in the hospital with the flu can cause you to get pneumonia, or you can get pneumonia on your own as a secondary infection, which can be deadly, or it can be just something easy to get rid of. It just depends on the person, on their immune system. So please use your brain. Please be respectful. That's all I ask. Thank you.